Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
Back what he says, specifically the part about electing a Christian leader who is Christ-like. Would you admit that he shouldn't have said that?
I mean, it's a perfect statement. First and foremost, let me ask this question. Is it not true that the Ghana's population, Christians form 70%? Is it not true that Alan is a Christian? Is it not true that while he was making a statement, he was meeting a Christian? Is it not in a chapel?
Yes.
So what is wrong about that statement?
But
in the first place, the pastor who preached that day made a statement that in this country, Christians form 70% of the population. So every member should make sure he gets to the word and make sure he wins a soul for Christ. So when Allah was called, he reiterated the pastor's comment of Christians being 70% of the population. And he was saying that, yes, he will be contesting this year's elections. If what the pastor is saying, and Christians decide to even vote for him, he has won the election. And he is not saying they should vote for just a Christian leader, but a Christ-like. What are the characteristics of Christ? And he mentioned them. Christ was compassionate, he was this, he was that. Because of that, they need a leader like that, so that he will not come and lord over them, but to be servant to Ghanaians. This is all what he said. And MPP is having problem with this. I'm shocked. Look, Dr. Bawumia in MPP primaries, he met the Muslim. He made a categorical statement that I am not contesting for my own reason. I have been selected because I am a Muslim. And I'm coming because of you, the Muslims. So all Muslims must vote for me. He made this statement clear. That time, it seems another first mouth was deep that time. Maybe he was damp that time. So he couldn't make comment about that. Not only that, the National Natural Coordinator at MPP's Thanksgiving service made that same statement that this time we are going to have a Muslim president and a Christian vice president. And they say what? The National Youth Organizer, Salam Mustafa, made a similar statement that Christians have been president all this while. So it's time for a Muslim to be a president. They didn't say anything wrong about it. Look, we are telling them, they the MPP people, Alan is going to repeat this same statement. He will be saying it everywhere. Because this is the campaign. And the campaign, you cannot take away the tribe, you cannot take away the religion. Only the Ghana, we are being hypocrite. Oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. Are you getting it? He is saying that he should show one country in this world that has based this thing on the theory that is professing. Look, can a Christian be a vice president in Niger, where Bawumia's wife come from? Are you telling me we don't have Christians in Niger? Do we recall a particular year that they say, oh, Niger had a Christian president or a Christian vice president? It has never happened. Can you be a Christian and be president in Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco, and the rest? You can't. Look, we can trace this to the beginning of the world. There was a man called Abraham. Abraham gave birth to two sons. One is called Ishmael, one is called Isaac. At a point, he blessed them, and then they left. Where Ishmael dominated, all those countries that the descendants of Ishmael dominated, those countries are being ruled by a Muslim. Nobody can tell me where you go to Burkina, we don't have churches there. We have. And where Isaac dominated, Christians rule. And Ghana is dominated by the descendants of Isaac. Since independence, Kwame Nkrumah's time up to this time, it's been ruled by Christians. And we are not going to change the status quo. At times people mistake that, Dr. Hilal Imam. Dr. Hilal Imam is not a Muslim. Dr. Hilal Imam was a Christian, either Catholic or Assemblies of God, one of these churches. So I don't see anything wrong about what Mr. Lanchemakin said.
Are you suggesting that a Muslim is ordinarily not qualified to be president?
Not that he's not qualified, but the status quo, a Christian will lead this country.
Which status quo?
Nowhere in this world. Nowhere in this world.
Which status quo are you referring to?
That is what I'm saying. Nowhere in this world that a minority rule over majority. That one is not going to happen.
But our constitution is specific
Christians
against
the
discrimination.
Majority. I said Christians for what discrimination. Let's go to Parliament. The two dominant parties had 137 in Parliament. The first day, didn't you see the fight? Until the independent candidate declared for MPP party, there was a fight about who should form the majority and who should be minority. So that should tell you that in democracy, minority cannot rule over majority.
And
we are just being hypocrites in this country.
And you're determining the minority based on religion when we are not a country that is religious.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect.
We are a secular country. You're saying that is incorrect.
We are not a secular country. Look, I can show you, I can push a publication to you where president was addressing somewhere. And he said that our constitution is a secular, but Ghana is a Christian country. You have a Christian forming 70% of your population, and you say it's a secular country. It's not. It's not. Muslims are 17% of the population. And then our traditional authorities and others also form the rest. So in every democracy, majority rules. That's why I was making a statement that, look, there is no smarter politician in this country than J.J. Rowling. Do you know why?
No.
When we were entering a Fourth Republic, J.J. managed to win the sympathies of the Muslims too, inside. And realizing that Christians form the majority of this country, he decided to go Christian. Show me. From 1992 up to now, apart from, was it one of the, that Mumuni came in as a running mate. Apart from that, NDC has never failed any Muslim because they have studied and they realize that, look, Christians dominate. So always they go Christian, and they win. So there's nothing wrong to stand before Christians and say that, do this to me. Let me give you one example. I was looking for that video and sent to your producer, where Don Mahama was invited to a Muslim program. Dr. Bawumia was there. John Mahama spoke, and then he quoted some of their Quran, so and so and so. When Bawumia took over, go and see how he was messing him up. That now, because your Mahama won their vote, it's now coming to Muslim program. So let us pray and make sure he turn to a Muslim and all those kind of things. He was speaking in Abuja. And the way he was laughing, and he called John Mahama Malam Don. Nobody in MPP saw that as reckless. Nobody in MPP saw that as backward.
In fact,
But
questions were raised. The fact that within the MPP questions were not raised doesn't mean that questions should not be raised by others. If the issue is with the new patriotic, in fact, when Dr. Bawumia said that questions were raised,
than other. Nobody is more Ghanaian than other. If Bawumia says it and nobody can ask question, nobody can see anything wrong. If another person says it, there's nothing wrong about that. There's nothing wrong. Who is more Ghanaian than other?
That's an interesting yardstick to use. Because the fact that somebody does something wrong does not excuse your wrong, does it?
So if I say I am a Muslim, vote for me. Then
because you are a Muslim.
But if I say I'm a Christian, vote for me, there is something wrong.
No, I'm saying that what he said, if it was wrong, what Alan said. But I want to ask you a question. Would Alan Tremantin seek the vote of Muslims in this election?
Why not? Why not? When he meets Muslims, he'll talk to them. They should vote for him. You see, one thing we are missing is that Allah was not sitting on radio making this statement. Allah was not at a rally ground making this statement. He was making the statement in a church. Except you are not a politician. If you're a politician, your messages will vary from one point to another. So you get to a point, you study the people you are meeting, then you speak to them. You cannot go and meet teachers and you'll be talking about buying guns for them. You cannot.
Mr. Adorye, please kindly hold on for me. We have Mr. Richard Ahiagba on the other line. Thank you very much for your time. Good morning to you, Richard.
Good morning, sir.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm quite well. You abandoned me, but okay.
Well, let's start with your issue.
I can't hear Richard. I can't hear Richard.
Okay, we'll try and rectify that, but I can hear him, and I'm sure our listeners can. Even if you don't hear it, I'll summarize whatever he said.
That would be unfair. I want to hear him.
Well, we'll work around it. But Richard, you have an issue with what was said by Mr. Alan Tremantin. What's your issue with it?
Thank you. Stella, is my brother Hopeson say he can't hear me? That's what he said.
Hopeson, can you hear him?
No, I can't hear him, sir.
You still can't hear him?
Yes.
Okay. But please, Richard, go ahead.
Okay, so Sarah, thank you, and good morning to your listeners. I apologize. I was supposed to be at your studios on Friday, but something came up. I couldn't come, so I duly apologize for that. So on this matter, I will tell you by saying that earlier I know my brother Hopeson, my brother who is a good member of our party, has worked very hard, was misled to follow the Honorable Alan Tremantin, who himself was misled by his own ideas to lead the party. They belong to the MPP, but then somehow, for personal and some other parochial sentiments, they've left the party. But today, and following that statement, I've come to fully understand why he left the party, and I can say on authority or some version of with some measure of conviction that my brother Hopeson should come back because he's been grossly misled. The reason Honorable Alan Tremantin left the MPP is very, very clear to me now. It has nothing to do with the false claims of I have been cheated. It has nothing to do with anything to do with the election, but everything to do with a possible election of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And that for me is very sad. You see, it is nowhere in our constitution, I think Article 62 talks about qualification to be president of this country. There is nowhere in that constitution, which is the manifest document for with which we are working with to grow this democracy in the Fourth Republic. There's nowhere in that document where it says that you must not be a Muslim, you must be a Christian and be a Christ-like leader in order to become president. It's nowhere in that document. And so when anybody, whether in the church, inside the church, or on top of the church, to say something like that, that person, first of all, is misleading the people. Two, is creating division of enormous proportions in this country by introducing that language. By introducing that language, you are aiming at the national security of this country. To say that we should distinguish between those who are who subscribe to a Muslim faith and those who subscribe to a Christian faith, and going further to establish that based on that distinction, it is only one class of people, one group of people who can lead this country. So that, respectfully, we are not a theocracy. What Honorable Allah Kojo Chabate said is leading Ghana and presenting Ghana as a theocracy. We are not. And nobody should countenance that, or nobody should try and compare that to anything anybody has said. Because the context is different, the presentation is different, the intent is different. And I want to submit that we desist from that conversation. I hear my brother says that he will say it everywhere he goes. That is very dangerous. But from the outset, we know that their campaign is going nowhere. But now they have actually ditched their campaign because no Ghanaian is in the mood to accept this divisive comment as acceptable. This divisive comment as politics as usual. It is not. It's a dangerous conversation, and we should stay away from it.
But he's also suggesting, first, that this is a campaign platform. He was speaking to Christians predominantly. He wasn't speaking to the entire nation.
But now it's before the entire nation. And that is why, the way you behave in private, okay, or you behave in public, should not be in disalignment with the way you behave in private. Because what you are doing in private has potential of coming out. And so you just have to be a consistent human being. And so if Hopeson is excusing for that conversation to have been a private conversation in the four walls of a church, then the credibility, the integrity of their candidacy is questionable, because they behave differently in private and behave differently in public. And I think that is a dangerous character of a leader. That it is worse for us to actually be excusing him on that basis, because what he says to us in the day should be the same thing he says to us in the night. There shouldn't be any inconsistency in his presentation. Otherwise, as a leader, you can't trust him, because he will tell you something in the morning, in the afternoon, he will tell you something different. That is character question of the candidates that my brother Hopeson is presenting, if that is his argument. If he is making the argument that, because he was in the church, he's free to tell Christians that Muslims cannot be a leader, which is not factual. So when he meets Muslims, what would he tell them? When then Alan Chamantin goes to meet the national chief imam, what will he tell him? That Muslims can be president now? Is that what he's going to say? Would you trust a person like that to be your president? Now, for me, this is not even a campaign issue for me. This is about a human issue. This is about a citizen issue. This is about security issue. So let's put aside the politics of it. It is just an inappropriate comment to make by one who is seeking to be a leader of this country. That is the emphasis. It has nothing to do with politics. Completely. It just has everything to do with you being a good member of society. You don't divide the society you are seeking to build. And this comment, Senator, I can tell you, that is the worst comment yet made in this Fourth Republic by any politician, because it has the potential to break this country apart. And we should say it as it is, And I was saying just yesterday on a different program that personally, Honorable Alan Kojo, I have great respect for him. He's a good politician. He's had great opportunity to serve our party and country. And so, ordinarily, as an individual, I have great respect for him. You understand? Even though I didn't support him to become our flag bearer, if he had become the flag bearer, I would work for him with all my heart and make sure he becomes the president of this state. But on the basis of what he's saying now, I have every conviction to disagree with him. And if he were our candidate and he said this, I would disagree with him. Quite simply because, for me, I appreciate the diversity of our country. And in fact, our party appreciates the diversity of this country and wishes to leverage that as a development tool, not as a tool to divide Ghanaians, but to bring Ghanaians together so we can work and enhance our chances of building a prosperous country. And so he is completely out of the space for this conversation, and we should just call it what it is, an unacceptable, divisive comment that should not be repeated by anybody. Whatever your motives are, it should not be repeated because that can destroy this country.
But he says what you're expressing is what is typically called selective outrage. That where it concerns somebody within your party, you are quiet. But when it comes to somebody that's outside your country, your party, you come and you are speaking that what he said is not different from what Dr. Bawumia said during the campaign. Vote for me because I am a Muslim. I was voted because I am Muslim. Are you saying you didn't hear any of those?
Repeat what you just said. I mean,
that Dr. Bawumia during the elections. In fact, there's a video. If you like, I'll share. I think that this will help the discussion. Let me share with you. This is a video that was making the rounds.
That's what I want to benefit our people. I have been selected partly because I'm a Muslim. So I'm selected because I'm one of you. I'm not representing myself, I'm representing all of us. So please support. Let us make a difference in Ghana in our generation. Thank you very much for that.
Did you hear that?
So unfortunately, your line is quite shaky. But if you just summarize for me, what's the point?
He said he was selected because he was a Muslim, and that he's representing Muslims, and that Muslims should support him. That was Dr. Bawumia.
And you're saying that statement is what?
That is it not the same as what Alan Chemantin said? That he was also seeking Muslim votes because he said that I am a Muslim and I represent you.
Look, this is not anywhere close to this conversation. And I want to actually make the point before I address that question to say that this conversation we're having in relation to what Honorable Kojo Chemantin had said is nothing to do with Bawumia, right? It's just a poor statement that was made, and we're dealing with that. Now, you are injecting Dr. Bawumia in this question that he's made a statement saying that they should vote for him because he's a Muslim. Is that what Honorable Kojo Chemantin said? That they should vote for him because he's a Christian? Is that what he said?
I think it was part of the statement he made.
He was making a religious statement that is now being made to say that this country is predominantly a Christian country. We are at heart, okay, even if it was one person in this country who is a Muslim, we are not a Christian country by that definition. We're a secular country. My brother Hopeson should understand that it's not only Muslims, Christians that we're talking about. We're talking about people who own the land. They are traditionalists, right? They're traditionalists. Is it saying that we are a Christian country, okay, stepping aside the owners of the land, that they are not to be taken into account? And so we are a Christian country. Who told him that? Is this a Christian land by design, that the original people who inherited this place were Christians? No. The statement Alan made went to the heart of a society that is together. It will divide us. Imagine that a Muslim responds to that. Imagine a traditionalist responds to what he said, mounts a platform and says, no, this country is not a predominantly Christian. The owners of the land are traditionalists. Do you think we'll have peace in this country? Equate that to what Baumia may have said, that you're saying that he said, vote for me because I'm a Muslim. Telling Muslim, vote for me. Is it on the same scale? Something as destructive as that, something as divisive, completely unacceptable. Let's not compare that to anything. Is that statement singularly is the worst statement made by any politician in the history of this Fourth Republic, and we must put it on record as such. Nothing compares to it. Let's not even try.
That what Dr. Baumia said cannot be compared to what Allah.
No, we have nothing in terms of magnitude, in terms of this disrupting the peace and the social cohesion we have in this country. It has nothing close to what Honorable Alan has said, and nobody tried to compare that. It's an attempt at justification and
but is Dr. Baumia also not suggesting? Is Dr. Baumia also not suggesting that the only reason a Muslim should vote for him is because he's also a Muslim? That suggests that Muslims should vote against any other person of any other religion.
But did he make a religious case to say that?
The fact that he does not say that, the fact that he does not say that doesn't mean that should not be inferred, should it?
Senna, we are talking about an express conversation that says that don't vote for Christian because this country is a Christian nation, which in the first place is wrong. Okay? To you saying, Senna, you come to me and say, oh, I am Ewe, so vote for me. That's what the NDC has been canvassing all along. That's what political parties have been canvassing all along, and we say that is not acceptable. And I told you in scale that this statement is the worst that has been made by any politician in this Fourth Republic. To say that this country is predominantly Christian, that is an unspoken issue in our politics, to say that we want to bring out all of us together, Muslims, Christians. And you know, Senna, in our sub-region, the issues that we're dealing with, and across the world, Ghana is admired as one of the countries where Christians and Muslims fraternize in peace. Right? Then we sit together, we go to school together, we work together, we are friends together. Growing up in Nima, I have friends, and during Ramadan, incidentally, it's Ramadan time, when they fast and they break the fast in the evening, we sit, we eat and break fast, even though we didn't fast with them. Okay, so there is that unity that we have forged as a people. Nobody should be allowed. Nobody should be allowed to touch that unity that we have forged as a people. Let's not even try to allow anybody to equate anything to it so that you can get away with it. We should call it out squarely that is a dangerous statement, so the person knows it, so they don't repeat it. Nothing is equal to what Honorable Ahiagba said, because it is aiming at something that as a people, if we don't stop him and other people who are thinking about it, if we don't stop them, we will destroy this country on the altar of people seeking to want to come and lead it. What would they have to lead after all if they destroy this country?
So we condemn what Alan Tremantin said. You said is outrightly divisive. Would you defend what Dr. Baumia said if he said it again? There's no problem with it.
So if you want to have a conversation of dialectics, of looking at what people say, and we'll pick it out and discuss it, we can. But I'm just telling you that on balance, what has been said has no comparison in political oratory.
So it is not condemnable, is it?
Not at all.
It's not condemnable.
Which one?
What Dr. Baumia said is not equally condemnable. Are you suggesting that? I understand your point about Alan Tremantin, but I'm asking you, because they have also said, you have said same thing. So you don't have the moral grounds to raise issues against what has been said by Alan Tremantin. So assuming that what Alan said is condemnable, would you agree that what Dr. Baumia also said is equally condemnable? Or it is not?
So, you know that in this country, you can't take the law into your own hands. It doesn't matter how egregious somebody has offended you. You can't take the law into your own hands. You report to authorities to deal with the matter, right? So that in seeking to make this comparison, let me give you this anecdote to see.
Are you giving all the time to him?
No, I'll speak to you. Don't worry. I'll come to you shortly. Give me a moment.
So that if because Hopeson slapped you, okay, maybe in a disagreement, Hopeson punched you on the chest or something, then you, on the basis of saying that Hopeson punched me, you go get a cutlass and slash him in the back. And that probably leads to maybe some other or fatal incidents with Hopeson. We're talking about proportionality. We're talking about magnitude of a statement that is made. The fact that he punched you does not give you right to go aim at everything that belongs to the society. The comments
it doesn't mean that
because I have not
Hopeson cannot also admit. It doesn't mean that Hopeson can also admit that I was wrong in slapping in the first place, does it?
Now, I'm just coming to answer that question for you. Because I have not heard the statement you are referring to, I'm unable to discuss that fully. But what you have satisfied, what you have told me, which is a summary, is your summary of the matter. To say that he said that vote for me because I am a Muslim. I am telling you respectfully, Senator, it is not the same thing Alan said. Alan positioned his statement to let people understand that this is a Christian country. And I'm telling you that is not true. My grandfather, my father is not in that definition that Alan is giving, that this country is a Christian country. It is not. The owners of the land are not Christians.
Okay.
By design. Okay? So you cannot make that statement to say that don't vote for anybody but a Christian. That is a disruptive statement. That is a false statement made in a church that cannot be compared to anything.
I don't disagree with you, but I'm saying that. Are you saying? And I think I'm over repeating, but I think I get your point. But
Mr. Host,
okay. Let me come to Hopeson. I get your point.
Analogy to you.
Yes, I get you. I get you.
See that? I'm just saying that in the history of this republic, nothing is as divisive
as what
Alan has said.
Okay. Let's.
That
Okay.
statement cannot be equalized. That statement cannot be explained away. That statement cannot be excused. It is singularly the worst statement. So let's put it in that category. If tomorrow you want to compare other comparable statements, then we can do that. But now that statement,
Thank you.
Left field.
Richard, I get your point. Hopeson, I'm sure you've heard a significant part of what he said. What do you say in response?
You see, this makes the entire MPP a hypocrite. They are hypocrites. First of all, vote for a Christian more dangerous than all that be done. When the presidential candidate of MPP made that statement, all that be died, we printed T-shirts, all that be died, with guns and other things, and every MPP member was wearing. It was not dangerous. But vote for me as a Christian is dangerous. Is it not hypocrisy? You pray the case to him right now, unless he tells me that voice is not Dr. Baubia's voice. It's a video. So if he says it's not his voice, you put the video to him. And he's saying that that's why he's not condemnable. Abba. Ghanaians listening to us, you should make an informed decision that, look, this country, we have people who are genuine and those who come and lie to you and take your vote. Richard should not talk about credibility at all. You are talking about credibility of Alan Jamante. Don't go there.
Radio station.
Because your candidate has no credibility. 90.5. From 0 to 10, it will score 0 when it comes to credibility. From 0 to 10, Allah will score 9. So that's why it should not come in. My brother, how do you determine that a country is a Christian, is a Muslim, is a traditionalist? It's about science and data. Numbers. Ghana Statistical Survey has made it clear through the population of housing and population census. They has made it clear that, look, this thing, Christians dominate. The entire population, Christians are 70% plus. Muslims are 17%. And the remaining one for the traditional and other faith-based. So how dare can you stand there and say Ghana is not a Christian country? Please, stop that. We are a Christian country. President Akufo-Addo said it recently that though our constitution is secular, that Ghana is a Christian country. My brother, let me try and get the screenshot that I picked from that is in, and send it to your producer and see whether I am telling the truth or I'm lying. Richard cannot pick and choose, but we have made similar religious statement. It should be condemned. Apart from that, the national coordinator of MPP made similar statement that this time we are going to have a Muslim president and a Christian vice president. Why? Richard, what is that?
0.5.
You were there. Your national youth organizer says Christians have ruled this country up to now. So this time Muslims are taking over. What did you say? We should not be hypocrites. I said what Alan Tremantin said was okay, it's timely. He has made the point clear. Everybody has understood him that yes, Ghana is a Christian country and they need to vote for a Christian and then a Christ-like. My brother, when we say Christ-like, it's not necessarily maybe who attends church. It's a behavior. Those who behave like Christ, those who are truthful, those who are not corrupt, those who are compassionate are the Christ-like people. So it can be a traditionalist, but you will see the Christ-like this is in that person.
Radio station you can call your
So what is their comments about this?
0.5.
Because they are losing. Richard, let me tell you today, MPP's defeat will be a record for someone to beat in future. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
station you can call
I made the statement that look, this country, God in his own wisdom gave it to the Johns to rule. That's why the first president of the Republic in the Fourth Republic was John Jerry Warren. The second president, John Ajekum Kufuor. Third president, John Evans Atamers. Fourth president, John Mahama. When we were going for the fifth, we departed. And then we went for William. You see the consequences of it. Look, December 7th, Ghanaians are returning to John. And it's John Alan Tremantin or John Mahama. One of these two people are going to win the election. One of these two is going to win. Whether you like it or not, Ghana is a Christian country. And it is so. You cannot come and tell us that this is it. We are working with science and data. So what is your basis to say that Ghana is not a Christian country?
But Ghana also recognizes every other religion. In fact, if you look at the schedule of our holidays, we acknowledge the Muslims when we are we giving Muslims holidays, we giving Christians holidays. It means that we recognize
don't
both
oil
religions.
what Richard is saying. Don't oil it. I beg you. Just last 2 weeks, Alan Tremantin was at the Chaseman's house. He presented rice and sugar and milk, water to them to feed those who are fasting. Why? If he doesn't recognize the Muslim community, will he go there? When he heard that this man's wife passed, He got there before even the Muslim got there. Are you getting it? So we should not draw that in. I am saying that in campaigning, you speak to specific issues. When you meet a group, it's what you tell them. You don't have anything. That's why I made anything that you cannot go and meet the military and tell them, I'll be buying you talk. For what?
I see.
They will not mind you.
I see.
But when you tell them that I'm going to get you for sophisticated weapons to guide the country, they'll be happy and follow you.
Well, we have to wrap this up. So you, Hopeson, Adorye, and the movement of change, movement for change will not admit that what he said was wrong and divisive and withdraw.
You cannot take
and apologize.
You cannot take religion out of our party politics. You cannot. The same thing, you cannot take tribe out of it. Why is it that my home country region, voter region, it's a stronghold of a particular party?
No,
Why
I do understand that. In fact, in the past, when people have made tribal and ethnocentric comments, they have been asked to apologize. They've been condemned roundly.
Let me make this point clear. Why is it that voter region is a stronghold of a political party? Why is it that Ashanti region is a stronghold of a political party? Because you cannot take that from them. Voter region, we believe that yes, NDC was formed by a Votarian and they own that party. When you go to Ashanti region, they think that the party was formed by an Ashanti and they own that party. You cannot take it away from that, from them. Are you getting it? So we cannot come and say, why is it that everybody is targeting Ashanti region? Why? So we should not be hypocrites. All what we are discussing, that on the ground, it's not like that. No, the things that they go to meetings and say, if they should record it and put it in the public domain, would they go to stay in this country? They say well things. You don't come and then be, painting yourself as if you are Angel Gabriel or whatever. No.
So you spoke the truth. No apology.
Look. But here's one, I am not going to condemn because he met the Muslim community and he wants to convince the Muslim community to follow him. Should I condemn him?
Okay. So Alan spoke the truth and you will not apologize.
That's why I asked that. Is it not true that Allah is a Christian? He is. Is it not true that he was speaking at church? He was. So what is the problem?
Okay.
He's telling the church. If nobody recorded it and put it outside, who written get to know of it?
Okay. Mr. Adorye,
what is he talking about?
Mr. Adorye, thank you very much for speaking to us.
To stop that hypocrisy and then we move forward. I say MPP is going to lose this election very big.
Thank you.
The difference, it will be a record in Fourth Republic. I am telling them.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Richard, you do have the last word on this. You still insist that what is said by Alan is very bad. Alan should apologize. But Dr. Bawumia's own, we should have a separate discussion on it.
By miles, there's no comparison between whatever comment you're saying. Because if Bawumia had made a similar comment on the magnitude Honorable Alan Kojo Chamate has made it, Ghana will hear about it. You are telling me a story that
Ghana has heard about it, it's just that you have refused to hear about it.
No, I'm saying that because you are here, you I don't know if you discussed that comment on your platform the way we are discussing this one. And
yes,
so
of course
I'm
we
saying
did.
that there's nothing comparable in this matter. Okay, it's for me clear in my mind that anybody who aims to destroy the cohesion, the societal unity that we have in our country, that person is not a friend of this country. That person must be told in the face that you don't belong in a society with the language you are speaking. That's completely unacceptable. You can't lead us. So two, let me make the point that Hopeson should not mislead Ghanaians on the record or history of the New Patriotic Party. The New Patriotic Party, yes, in the Fourth Republic, but for the convenience of politics, it is seen as an account party, not an Ashanti party in any sense that he's trying to portray, because of majority and the forced representation of history. The formation of our party, the UP, where we the tradition originates, is a melting pot of regional groupings across this country. In there, you have the Anglo Youth Association, that's part of it. You have the Northern People's Party, that's part of it. You have the NLM, that's part of it. You have the Gashipomofi, that's part of it. It's a convergence, a melting pot of political, regional, tribal groupings that evolve based on the laws of the time prohibiting regional groupings of political parties. So the New Patriotic Party, drawing its heritage from the UP party, it is not a ethnic group of people that form that political party. Okay. It is just by sheer convenience in this Fourth Republic, people misrepresenting the history for purposes of politics, that has become the case. But it's not true. And Hopeson knows about it because he's defended this position before. So he shouldn't take the convenient position of being in some movement today and therefore mislead Ghanaians. The truth of it is that the comment that Honorable Alan has made is completely in bad taste. It should not be countenanced by anyone. Let's condemn it, and if anybody has another conversation to have, we can have that. But let's not mix it with anything and say this one too, you say this one, you say this. And you, the journalists, are the chief proposers of let's not equalize. And this equalization is the worst of the century if anybody tries to do it. We're saying that we are one country, we are one people, traditionalists, Muslims, and Christians. We are coexisting peacefully. We are working arm in arm to build a country for ourselves and for our children. Let's keep it that way. Let's not allow anyone for their own parochial, very, very parochial interests to come and destroy what we have built together.
Richard, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Richard Ahiagba is Director of Communications of the New Patriotic Party. We are angry with what they raise issues with what Mr. Alan Tremanti of the Movement of Change for Change has said. When pointed out to him that Dr. Bawumia made similar comments, he said, Dr. Bawumia, the gravity of what he said and what Mr. Alan Tremanti said are two different things. Movement for Change will not apologize. MPP too will not apologize. In fact, it seems it is the direction.
Debbie Kama, Mamena PENDREAM TV ase. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.